Attention everybody here. I want to talk to you about some important stuff that you don't seem to think is so urgent to know about, because I want to tell you about anybody who wants to go around saying stuff and doesn't think it's important to listen to all the facts. I have a message for them. Stop going on what you find is personally important to yourself and start understanding something in substance. And that is, to anybody who wants to be a police officer, if they don't think they don't want to give forensic science the time of day, guess what? They better give that kind of stuff the time of day, because the facts are not disputable when the right people have the evidence to prove what is true as opposed to what is not true. Okay? Now, there's no debating what people are talking about when it comes to that. If you have any idea what I'm telling you, you better know about it. Because if you ever heard one person say they were going to kill another person, or they'd like to do it, and say if somebody ever dies that I'm really close to, you'll be the first person to be a suspect. No, can't work that way, because DNA evidence will prove it. Crime lab technology has set people free. And if you don't want to hear this, and you say I have the time to go and make an accusation against somebody, but I don't have the time to listen to this, then guess what? The indictment is on you, because you said it's not important what anybody has to say. It's not important to know what the facts are. It's not important because I don't care. Well, this isn't about religion. It's not about beliefs. These are scientific facts that they can prove stuff. And see, maybe nobody's ever heard of diatoms and any of that, isotomes and anything they've done like on forensic files. I'm not talking that fictional crap like CSI and cold case. I'm talking about forensic files, cold case files, documentaries that have detective, when they have stuff like the FBI doing the work. Okay? Maybe you'd like to explain to some people how that's possible. I don't hear anybody talking about that who just goes with whatever they want to hear. Now, I'll tell you something. Somebody's going to believe a lie detector test. Somebody looks like they're guilty. They must be guilty. No, it does not mean that. Because somebody said something, I can convict them on their own words and have it done in a court of law. No, you cannot. Because that's not the way it works. And I'm stating facts about what's going on. Okay? Because fact, if you say that kind of stuff, you're believing a lie. You're just spreading gossip about somebody else. Okay? Maybe nobody's ever heard of the Innocence Project here, because that's really important stuff that people had better take seriously. Okay? Because I will tell you something. You know what it is? Alright, so why is it that there have been cases that have gone on for decades about somebody's guilt and somebody's innocence? Well, let me tell you something. If you don't want to hear about what forensic scientists are talking about, I don't care what. I have no respect for people like that. And I mean I have none, because they do not care about what's going on. They don't care about what's really that important, and so forth. Because forget about social cues. Because if somebody went to FBI school and they can collect the evidence to prove somebody did or didn't commit a crime, you better know what you're talking about. And all these claims about quit harassing me and all of that is unimportant. Okay? So better keep your mouth shut if you're going to go around making accusations like that. Because I'll tell you something. See, the fact of the matter is that people need to be told the truth. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to make it clear. See, as you go around just going on your merry way, not caring about stuff, I'll tell you what, that's the kind of stuff we don't need in society. Because I'll tell you what, I don't believe a psychological evaluation when it comes to somebody serving on jury duty. Okay? And no, I'm not talking about forensic profiling when I talk about forensic science. I'm talking about where they use actual technology and they have a real investigation going on. And they have an ongoing one to find the truth out. Like when they do rape, because somebody could be accusing somebody else of rape, and DNA testing can prove somebody didn't commit that crime. Okay? So why don't people get it straight that they're just not going to go around saying whatever they want about somebody else? Okay? Now this is the guy who says that, hey, you better know what you're talking about because I want people to have their facts straight. And don't say I have my facts pretty straight, because there's enough police officers I've met that really think they know what they're talking about. When it gets down to brass tacks, they don't know what they're talking about. Okay? And I'll tell you something. All this business, this nonsense about trespassing, I'll tell you what, maybe somebody should be made aware of stuff, and maybe they'd like to have an FBI agent come and talk to them. Somebody with that kind of training, because yes, they're a specially trained police force, and you do not go telling them nonsense like that, because they can tell you anything and prove that somebody was telling the truth or somebody was telling a lie, okay? And they have dealt with the world's best liars. Don't think for a minute you can get away with just whatever you want, because you just feel like, oh, I said this in the past and I got away with it. And you want to tell somebody they're trespassing somewhere? Well, you better know what you're talking about, because they can come back with a lawsuit against you. And about slander and libel, you better be aware of things like that, defamation of character, and other things. Because if you don't care about certain things going on, and you're just so self-absorbed, I'm having a bad day, why don't you take that up with somebody who has an understanding of what is what in science, okay? Because there's enough people out there in the United States of America that will tell you things about it. And I'm not sure if anybody's ever heard of a man named Henry Lee, because Dr. Henry Lee would be somebody that would do it. And he's used like luminol, which is the spray that they can do to investigate the scene of a crime. Luminol is the special lighting they use, okay? Now, he could be a help to the FBI, and I'm just saying he lives in California, which is where I wish I did live, okay? And he has traveled around, and he has gotten innocent people set free and guilty people put away, okay? So why don't you people get something straight? You don't like the way I am? Well, guess what? I'm on YouTube and so forth, and I'm the crime fighter, okay? Because this is the guy that's telling somebody, just don't mess with me, okay? I'm devoted to doing stuff like that, and I'll tell you something. I'm all in favor of getting all these nonviolent people out of prison, and I don't give a rat's butt about CCAP or any of that stuff, okay? Because it's not reliable. You want to talk about an investigation with a criminal background check, you better talk about an FBI record, because that'll be more reliable than you want to know about. And if they do an FBI investigation, background check is what I'm talking about. Looking for people who commit sex crimes and stuff like that. Because sexual offenders who truly do prey on children, like what it is when somebody talks about this stuff, that's serious business. Because I'm telling you people, don't think that whatever I'm talking about is irrelevant. Because when it comes to how you feel, feelings are not what's going to stand up in court. How you think, well, I've had problems with this person in the past, I've had problems with that person in the past, and any of that stuff, sorry, not reliable. And I don't care, and somebody says it's personal about wanting to be a police officer, guess what? Go into some 2-year school. No, I don't believe that at all. Because I have something to say about it. They better have a really good background, because if they want to talk to me about it, I'm going to make sure I know the facts on somebody else, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, you better be able to give me a reason to trust you or not trust you, okay? Because the fact of the matter is that if you're lying to me about something, there's going to be problems. And anybody saying, I don't want to be about detectives going and asking questions and calling it an investigation, no, not an investigation at all. Not even possible. Because I'll tell you something. These people have no legitimate training in dealing with anything that important. Okay? Because I want to tell you something. Somebody ought to get in touch with Jody Weiss. He used to be in the Federal Bureau of Investigation. He's now the Chicago Public Safety Superintendent, where they deal with the police and firefighting and everything. Well, I have news for you people about something, okay? If you don't think this is very important, think again. Because you're going to be looking at something that you're not going to like hearing about. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of places don't. Bigger cities have done away with the idea of a police chief. Yes, there's a county sheriff, but they elect the superintendent, okay? And I'm telling you about the fact that, hey, Just because a cop feels threatened does not mean you bring charges and that's a felony, because you can get that taken up with the FBI, because they have people that'll tell you if somebody threatened to kill me and everything. No, that doesn't stand up in a court of law. It won't, because they have to be able to prove everything, and they better be able to prove that somebody's just not telling them something that could happen, okay? Because, see, when somebody sends something to the FBI, they do investigate it, okay? Because, and yes, killing a federal officer is a federal offense, okay? That's something that happens. Like if you hit an FBI agent and you're under investigation, it's a felony. It's not a misdemeanor. And no, somebody who's a public nuisance may be your best friend. So you better know what you're talking about, because you better be in a place where you better be in a state of mind where it's really about crime fighting. And I'm deadly serious. Thank you, and bye for now.